He's Harold Reynolds, a friend of the show, Major League Baseball Network analyst, and a man who won not one, not two, but 3 gold gloves, and now wants to take back one of those gold gloves. Talked to Harold yesterday, and I said, why are you taking the gold glove back? Nobody's ever going to see that thing. And we put it on display so people remember the greatness of Harold Reynolds.
Well, to be factually correct, Dan said more people will see it here than any other place.
True.
I had to agree.
Yeah.
I said, okay, all right.
I mean, if you want to bring
got
it
a big
home,
following, man.
but if you want to bring it home to the family and you want to let the kids see it, but you have 3 of them.
I know, but they're all over the country. I got one in California at my brother Larry's office, and I got one at Safeco Field in Seattle.
Oh, so you want one at home now?
Yeah, you're right here, local. I don't know. We'll work
Who's
on
closer, me or your brother Larry, to you? Like, who means more to you?
You probably do right now.
All right. But Larry gets a gold glove.
Look at that.
You got any other memorabilia? What's the coolest thing you got?
The Roberto Clemente Award's pretty cool. That's a funny story. All right, it's probably something I should do with your gold glove. Because they used to give us a little ball.
Do you want to give me the Clemente Award?
I could do that. You'd love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring that in.
Because I loved Clemente.
Well, it used to be a little baseball.
Yeah.
And so then when Commissioner Selig started holding the podium and they had the announcement at the All-Star game, at the World Series and all that, they became like the Heisman Trophy. And so I'm presenting it, and I go, I don't have one that looks like that. And Commissioner Selig got me one. So I have the Heisman Trophy looking Roberto. It's really cool.
How big is it?
It's huge. It's like, it's not.
Yeah, but I don't.
life-size,
I mean,
it's big.
that signifies a lot. The Roberto Clemente Award.
That's a tough one to give up,
I mean,
man.
but I think you should keep that and give me the gold. We just keep the gold glove because the Clemente Award signifies a whole lot. Gold glove, anybody can win a gold glove.
You're hard to work with. You're hard to work with.
Gold glove, anybody can win one of those.
I can leave the glove. All right.
How political?
See how he is?
How political was Gold Glove voting, or is it still? Because it felt like there were guys that were going to get it, whether they deserved it or not. How did Rafael Palmeiro get a Gold Glove one year?
I know he played 25 games.
How's
That kind
that
of ruined
possible?
it. That kind of ruined it. It used to be the coaches and the managers who voted, and clearly there was a stronghold if you played a long time, and it was political at certain times. I don't know if it's as political as it used to be. We've thrown in so many stats now that make no sense. I'm sitting here going, he saved, runs saved. Well, how do you know if a guy saved a run or not? If we're not really looking at he dove with the runner on second and caught the ball and saved a run. So that's not an actual stat. Or UZR, his range. And
was Jeter an elite fielder?
Yeah, he was. What I look at as elite is he never missed the ball.
But did he get to enough balls to be elite?
When he was younger. When he was older, he didn't. But here's the trick.
Who was a better fielder, A-Rod or Jeter?
I think Jeter was probably more consistent. A-Rod didn't miss. Neither one of them missed many balls. Here's the key.
Okay.
All right, and I played with Omar Vizquel. We've been talking about Omar.
Best fielder of all time.
First few years I played with him, diving all over the place because he didn't know how to position himself. And then pretty soon he knew where to stand. Everybody's like, oh, he doesn't have range anymore. Well, you're not supposed to be diving all over the place once you figure out the league.
Well, Ripken did that too. Ripken played great positional
He was
shortstop.
great. And that's what I think the knock on Jeter was as he got older, he wasn't all over the – well, he didn't need to be. He knew where he's supposed to stand. That's the thing that I think people miss.
Is A-Rod going to get married to J-Lo?
Wow. They're a perfect couple.
Yeah?
They are. I mean, you think about you follow them on Instagram or Twitter? I mean, I don't either, but everybody that at work comes to me and says, oh, did you see this one? They're both neurotic about that stuff. They both have these personalities that are so driven.
Who's prettier?
Oh, she is.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I mean, he's a pretty guy, but that's J-Lo, man.
Yeah. Have you been out with him yet?
I met them at the All-Star game, but going to dinner with them here in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fallen. He's in love. Yeah.
But what a turnaround, though. This guy went from suing the league, suspended, to he's doing the World Series.
How did it happen, though? How did that transformation happen with A-Rod?
Several people, I think, sat down. But on him, I think he got to the point where he was like, look, am I going to live in this storm the rest of my life? And I think he really did a great job of cleaning it up as far as getting in front of people, talking to the folks he needed to, meeting with the commissioner, with Tony Petitti, getting to Fox with those people, and really just basically saying, hands up, I did it. Let me change my thinking and my way. And he did a great job of returning it around. He really did.
And I thought he showed great insight and a sense of humor on those Fox broadcasts. I thought that it became must-see TV. And A-Rod, and Pete Rose and A-Rod and Frank, had fun there.
Yeah.
But I thought A-Rod showed the ability to be great at broadcasting.
He's got a great insight. But you got to be selfless. Love for the game.
You got to be selfless when you do it. You got to push the game out. You can't bring it back necessarily to you all the time. And A-Rod, I think, was always accused of making it about him, and now he's making it about the game.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting thing is he's always been a guy that thought he was a coach as well. And I think he looks at broadcasting like he's teaching and he's coaching.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of what his personality is.
Let me give the official introduction to Harold Reynolds, who is now going to leave his Gold Glove here with us. Major League Baseball Network will exclusively televise 2 American League Division Series games. This postseason, you can catch Harold on MLB Tonight throughout the postseason. Explain to the audience where Aaron Judge was the first half of the season, where he was when he had this horrendous slump, to where he is now as we head into the postseason.
Well, I think, it's funny. I did a breakdown on this last night. 16, he struck out a lot. He struggled. I mean, like half the at-bats, he swing and miss. I think he really simplified it, went back to what he did in college, and basically set his hands in a position and swung the bat. Not a lot of thinking. Season starts, he takes off. He went through the struggle, and I think part of the struggle was fatigue. He played an all-star game, home run derby, comes out, strikes out 37 games in a row, and then the Yankees go, you need a day off. Well, yeah. He sort of had one a while back, and then he really made a nice adjustment. He's starting to get his hands in front of himself and getting them back where he can read again. So that's kind of the quick analogy of what he's done, but it's been remarkable.
But pitchers, people always go, a hitter's in a slump. Well, the pitcher's job is they can be in a slump, too, giving up home runs to Aaron Judge. They have to figure out how to get him out. And I always say, give me 1 time, 2 times through, and then let me see what pitchers are doing to you. And if they're not doing anything to you, then you're the real deal. And then they still have to try to find out what are the whole. Giancarlo Stanton, I think, has been a great example of a guy who went from being just a power hitter, swing hard and hit it, to now he's become a legitimate hitter, smarter in the strike zone and what he can and can't do. Well,
you look at Judge, he was hitting .330 at the All-Star break. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But watching him, Dan, take batting practice at the All-Star game, I was blown away. He hit a ball off the roof in Miami, and balls he was hitting to right field looked like a left-handed pull hitter. It was unbelievable. So I think he understands I can hit the ball out anywhere at any time to have that kind of power and that strength. So that allows him to be able to manipulate the strike zone a little bit more and know what he can handle and what he can't. And as a result, he's done that. I think Stanton's been great for him because as a guy watching another power hitter trying to emulate what he does, he's watched Stanton realize, with my great power, I can hit it out anywhere. So Stanton doesn't have to pull the ball. You look at Albert Pujols now. Pujols, when he was younger, he hit the ball out all over the place. Now he's got to pull a ball, hit it out of the ballpark. So the batting average is going to come down. And so it's going to be fun watching Judge these next couple of years.
Explain what happened to the Dodgers.
Boy, they fell apart. I look at, they played too many lineups for me. Baseball's a game of adjustments, and when you can't make that adjustment the next day because the matchup doesn't look good on paper, you're going to struggle. And when they have a bunch of guys that are everyday players, it wasn't a bunch of utility guys that said, I'm only going to play 2 or 3 days, don't overexpose me. You have everyday players playing in that role. You're going to struggle eventually. I think that's what hit them. And now they're starting to get it back together, but they're not the big favorite for me as I head into the postseason.
Who do you like?
I like the Nationals in the National League. I really think what they did at the All-Star break, that bullpen they put together. Bryce Harper's coming back. He had the flu last night, so he didn't play. But they're going to get him 3 or 4 days of games, and he'll be ready to go. But that team, that lineup is complete. I love their starting pitching. They got 3 guys that can do it in the front. In the American League, it's going to be a flip in the coin. It's going to be crazy. I think the Yankees might be the front runner when you sit down and look at it. Well, their bullpen, we play this crazy bullpen game now. And your starter goes 4 innings, maybe 5, and here comes the pen. And the Yankees' pen is as deep as anybody.
Yeah, but how often are you going to the pen? Because you got to start out. You're getting in as a wild card team, and you're going to be playing a few more games.
Yeah, they're going to live against it.
Yeah, and
Cleveland would be
did it.
the obvious force.
Yeah,
and they had the only thing I worry about is, can you really stay this hot for that long? That's what you worry about. I'm kind of playing the odds on that.
We've seen what happens with the NFL, WNBA. We've had some protests there. Can you see a scenario where anything comes up playoff-wise in baseball where there's any show of unity, protest, whatever it might be with Major League Baseball?
Well, I think it possibly could. I think what we see now with social media, it's not just one sport. It's the athletes are way more united today.
Yep.
And so I can see that happening. I think when you look at what's happened it started with the NBA, with the NFL, but went to the NBA. And we've had a guy in Oakland the other day, finally our first baseball player that was kneeling down. So it could very easily happen because I think they're more united than ever before because of social media.
He's Harold Reynolds. You can see him MLB tonight and exclusively televising 2 American League Divisional Series games. Probably would be in the wedding party with A-Rod, I would imagine, with J-Lo.
Wow. Got me in the wedding party.
I'm going to get.
You guys coming?
No, we won't be invited. I know I'm not invited.
Why? You and A-Rod been at odds?
Remember what happened?
No.
Long time ago.
Oh, man. I'm kind of.
I hope it's over.
Yeah, he doesn't talk bad about you anymore.
Okay. Do you remember? No, I went to Arlington when he was on the Rangers. And you're the one that said, A-Rod, hey, he's really angry at you because of the Jeter stuff that he said to me when we did an interview.
Right.
And you're the one that said, hey, A-Rod.
It's my fault.
A-Rod,
now.
No. It was my fault. But you said, hey, A-Rod, he's not happy with you. And so we were going to Dallas, and I said, I'm going to go face-to-face with him. I go in the locker room.
Yeah.
And there's a couch there. So A-Rod's talking to Mike Lamb, I think. So I got Palmeiro, Canseco, Pudge. I got, these guys are just there they know what's happening. They know it's on.
Oh, my
And I'm waiting for A-Rod, and all of a sudden I go, he's talking to Mike Lamb as if Mike. I
totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And then we went there, and then Mike Lamb walked away, and then I thought it was I thought A-Rod was going to punch me. And so I had Rob Dibble with me, and I said, hey, Dibbs, if he hits me, just get him off of me. And then he said, I got your back.
Dibbs was so hoping he'd hit you just so he could let a few fly.
Yes, Eaton.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt your story.
Yes.
And I'm sorry to do this to you publicly.
What?
Okay, but the Danettes have taken a vote.
I'm not allowed to say this story anymore?
No, we're giving Harold back his gold glove.
Oh, wow.
And we're doing it. We're going to re-award him his gold glove.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, but you just can't have it.
Why?
It's not yours.
It's the right thing to do.
The Danettes.
Well, for starters, it's not yours.
Oh, wow.
And Harold earned that.
Thank you,
It's
guys.
his gold glove. He should have
Wow.
it. I'm sorry, but
Unbelievable. See, this is why this is the #1 show in America. Thank you, guys.
So back to A-Rod nearly wanting to kill me.
That's
So that's
unbelievable.
why I don't think we ever got out of that purgatory
Wow.
there. Yeah.
Well, I'll
So
have to
just
call
so-
him. I'm going to call him. I got to have him call in.
Tell him I said some nice things about
I will.
him. I hope he does well broadcasting, and he seems like he's in love, and I hope he's
Phone
fine
ringing?
and
No,
happy.
not yet. It's not ringing yet, but I'm sure he hears everything.
Oh, yeah. I just want him to hear the correct thing. But
All
I
right.
did think he was going to punch me that day. I did.
good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the weird thing is, I came out of the locker room, and I'm walking upstairs, and who's walking in but Scott Boras, his agent. And he goes, "Did you say hello to Alex?" I said, "Oh yeah, I did." I go, "He's not happy." "No, he likes you." No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. See you, Scott. Yeah. So work on that if you can.
I'll
for
work
me.
on it. Hey, thanks for having me, Dan.
It's always great to
Appreciate
see you, and congratulations on that Gold Glove.
Man, it's amazing.
Well done. Well
Years
done.
later.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yes.
Danettes, bringing it home.
Harold Reynolds, Major League Baseball Network analyst.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.